Chicago, Illinois, October 14, 2017. A man walks into the regional headquarters of the Tri-State Lottery Commission. He is wearing a tailored gray suit. He carries a standard black nylon duffel bag. He approaches the VIP redemption counter, unzips the bag, and begins stacking bundles of cardboard on the laminate counter. Scratch-off tickets. Thousands of them. All winners. The clerk runs the validation barcodes. The scanner chimes, again and again, a relentless, high-pitched mechanical drone. The total payout for this single Tuesday morning is $1.24 million. The man signs the tax forms, he takes his wire transfer receipt, he leaves. He did not hack a mainframe. He did not hold up a convenience store with a shotgun. He did not bribe a state official. He did not forge a single document. Over an 8-month period, this man and his partner drained exactly $24.6 million from the state lottery system. They did it in plain sight, under the glare of fluorescent gas station lights, under the watch of thousands of security cameras. They executed the most lucrative, perfectly legal heist in modern history, not by breaking the rules, but by simply having better eyesight than the house. This is the story of the Golden Smudge.
Gary, Indiana, April 2016. Elias Vance is 41 years old. He's a former risk actuary for a mid-tier life insurance firm. He was fired for insubordination. He makes $42,000 a year doing freelance tax preparation out of a 400-square-foot apartment. Elias is not a gambler. Gamblers rely on hope. Elias relies on mathematics. He understands that the Tri-State Lottery functions on a mathematically unassailable house edge. It is a tax on bad math. The state pays out exactly 62 cents on every dollar spent. The house always wins. But Elias also understands that the math must eventually be translated into physical reality. A scratch-off ticket is not an abstract concept. It is a physical object. It is printed on heavy cardstock. It goes through a Heidelberg Speedmaster industrial printer. It is coated in foil, stamped with a pseudo-random number generator, PRNG sequence, coated in secure latex, and shipped in rolls of 100 to corner stores across the Midwest. Where there is a physical manufacturing process, there is variance. Where there is variance, there's an exploit. Elias focuses his obsession on the state's newest game, the Sapphire Multiplier. It is a $50 ticket, the highest denomination ever released by the state. The grand prizes range from $10,000 to $500,000. For 3 months, Elias buys losing tickets out of the trash cans of local gas stations. He collects thousands of them. He pins them to corkboards. He studies the algorithms. He looks at the validation serial numbers printed on the bottom edge of the ticket, the only part of the ticket not covered in latex. He buys a jeweler's loupe, 10 times magnification. He stares at the serial numbers until his vision blurs. He is looking for a pattern, a cipher, a leak. Then, on a Tuesday at 3 a.m., he finds it. The manufacturer, Secure Litho Printworks, uses an automated optical sorter to batch the tickets. To ensure no single roll gets too many high-tier winners, the sorting machine reads a microstamp. Elias discovers that on tickets holding a prize of $500 or more, the optical sorting laser caused a microscopic misalignment, a 0.4 millimeter drift in the ink of the final digit of the serial number. The number is slightly thicker on the left edge, a shadow, a smudge, invisible to the naked eye, glaringly obvious under a loupe. If you know what to look for, the ticket tells you exactly what it is worth before you ever touch a coin to the latex. Elias has the key to the vault, but he needs capital to open it. He calls Marcus Thorne. Marcus is 38, a professional poker player, a logistics hustler, a man who understands how to move money quickly and quietly. Marcus arrives in Gary with $100,000 in cash. They run a field test. A Shell station in Peoria, 11:45 p.m. Elias and Marcus walk to the counter. Marcus leans on the glass. "I want to buy some Sapphire multipliers," Marcus says. "How many?" the clerk asks. "I don't know yet. I'm superstitious. My grandfather only bought tickets ending in an odd number. Let me see the roll." The clerk hesitates. State regulations say clerks cannot let customers handle unpurchased tickets. I don't need to hold them, Marcus says, sliding a crisp $100 bill across the counter. Just hold the plastic dispenser up to the glass. Let me look at the numbers. The clerk looks at the 100. He makes $9 an hour. He picks up the plastic dispenser and holds it to the plexiglass. Elias stands right behind Marcus. He leans in. He squints. Ticket 041, clean. Ticket 042, clean. Ticket 043, the golden smudge. I'll take number 43, Marcus says. The clerk scans it. Marcus pays $50. They walk to the car. Elias takes a quarter from the cup holder. He scratches the latex. $10,000. Marcus stares at the cardboard. He looks at Elias. We need a bigger car. The execution phase is a masterpiece of logistical engineering. Elias and Marcus map the delivery routes of every convenience store, bodega, and gas station across 3 states. They hire 6 runners, college students with clean records. They force them to sign non-disclosure agreements. They issue burner phones and rental cars. They train the runners to look for the smudge. It requires discipline. It requires nerve. The protocol is strict. Walk in late at night, tip the clerk heavily, ask them to hold the roll up to the light. Scan the edges. If there is no smudge, buy 1 losing ticket to keep the clerk happy and walk away. If there is a smudge, buy it. They leave the losers. They only take the winners. This is the cruel, invisible math of the advantage player. The state still makes its money. The store still gets its commission. But the regular public, the people buying tickets the next morning hoping for a miracle, are buying dead paper. The miracle has already been extracted. By August 2017, the operation is clearing $400,000 a week. They rent a climate-controlled warehouse in South Chicago. They buy industrial air purifiers to handle the toxic cloud of latex dust generated by scratching thousands of tickets. They treat it like a manufacturing job, 8 hours a day, scratching, sorting, scanning. By September, the total eclipses $18 million. Elias buys a penthouse. Marcus buys a fleet of sports cars. But scale is the enemy of the perfect crime. When you pull $24 million out of a closed system, you leave a footprint. Not a physical one, a statistical one. The Tri-State Lottery Commission headquarters, October 2017. Sarah Jenkins is a lead data analyst for the state. Her job is to monitor payout variance. A standard roll of Sapphire multipliers has a return to player rate of 62%. It is a slow, steady, predictable curve. On a Wednesday morning, Jenkins' terminal flags a massive localized anomaly. A cluster of 20 stores along the I-90 corridor. The payout rate isn't 62%, it is 98.4%. Jenkins digs into the logs. Store 442 in Milwaukee sold 40 tickets in 1 week. 38 of them were grand prize winners. That is a statistical impossibility. The odds are 1 in 14 trillion. The commission panics. They assume they've been hacked. They audit the PRNG servers. The servers are secure. They audit the delivery trucks. The tamper seals are intact. They pull the security footage from store 442. Jenkins watches the tape. 1:15 a.m. A young man walks in, slides a $100 bill across the counter. The clerk holds up the plastic ticket dispenser. The young man stares at it for 4 seconds. He points, he buys a single ticket, he leaves. He didn't touch the machine. He didn't alter the ticket. He just looked at it. Jenkins slows the footage down. She zooms in on the ticket in the dispenser. She can't see the smudge on the grainy security camera, but she knows exactly what is happening. She understands the printing process. She realizes the optical sorter defect. The state realizes they're bleeding millions, and the wound is self-inflicted. They call the state attorney general. They demand arrests. For what? The attorney general asks. Fraud, theft. Did they hack our systems? No. Did they alter the tickets? No. Did they force the clerks to sell to them? No, they tipped them. The attorney general sighs. It is not illegal to have good eyesight. It is not a crime to read a piece of cardboard we placed on a public counter. They beat you, legally.
The state cannot arrest Elias. They cannot arrest Marcus. If they admit the tickets are defective, they open themselves up to billions in class action lawsuits from the regular public who bought the dead tickets. They have to keep it quiet, but they have to stop the bleeding. If you cannot change the law, you change the math. Late October, the state quietly contacts Secure Litho Printworks. They do not recall the Sapphire multiplier. That would cause a panic. Instead, they issue a patch to the Heidelberg Speedmaster. They fix the 0.4mm drift on the winning tickets. The numbers are now perfectly aligned. But they don't stop there. The state orders the printers to intentionally apply the exact same 0.4mm smudge to the serial numbers, but this time they only apply it to the guaranteed losers. They build a honeypot. November 12, 2017. Elias and Marcus deploy their runners across 3 states. The new batches have hit the stores. The runners look at the dispenser. The smudge is there, everywhere. The runners text Elias. It's a gold mine. They shipped heavy today. Elias gives the green light. Buy them all. Over 48 hours, the team liquidates $2.8 million in cash. They buy every smudged ticket they can find. They haul them back to the Chicago warehouse in duffel bags. Marcus grabs a coin. He scratches the first ticket. Nothing. He scratches the second. Nothing. Elias steps in. He scratches 10, 20, 50. 0. Not a single winner. It is a graveyard of dead paper. Elias drops the coin. He looks at the mountain of tickets. He understands the math. He understands the counterplay. They know, Elias says. The state doesn't just stop at the honeypot. 3 days later, the Illinois Department of Revenue, working in tandem with the FBI, freezes Elias and Marcus's bank accounts. They don't file criminal charges. They file a civil asset forfeiture claim. The charge is fraud by deception. The legal battle lasts 2 years. Elias's lawyers argue that taking advantage of publicly visible information is the definition of a free market. If a casino leaves a card face up, it is not a crime to look at it. If the state prints the answers on the outside of the test, it is not a crime to read them. The state argues that the social contract of a game of chance requires ignorance from both parties. By utilizing an industrial defect, Elias removed the chance. He turned a lottery into an ATM. The case never reaches a jury. The state is terrified of discovery. They're terrified the public will find out the game was rigged by a misaligned laser. They settle. The state unfreezes the accounts, but seizes $18 million of the total winnings, citing it as recouped defective merchandise. Elias and Marcus are allowed to keep $3.8 million. As part of the settlement, both men signed lifetime bans from stepping foot on any property licensed to sell tri-state lottery products. They're legally barred from ever playing a state-sanctioned game of chance for the rest of their lives. Marcus takes his cut and moves to Nevada, returning to the poker tables where the math is cleaner. Elias Vance stays in Chicago. He doesn't go back to tax preparation. 6 months after the settlement, Secure Litho Printworks signs a blind corporate entity to a 7-figure annual retainer. The job title is Systems Integrity Consultant. The corporate entity is owned by Elias Vance. They pay him $1.2 million a year. Not to build their systems, not to fix their printers. They pay him to look at pieces of cardboard and tell them what he sees. He never touches another scratch-off ticket. He doesn't have to. He already won.